great job in this session today. So we really would like to invite to discuss today with us Ms. Chirangee Tissera, the founder and the CEO of ConsultEd, an alumni of NSBM Green University who is currently studying at the University of Winnipeg, Mr. Sachin Rodrigo, and an undergraduate of NSBM Green University who is an intern at Dilmah Tea, Ms. Thushinie Weerawardane. And I'm Andrea Fonseka, an undergraduate of the University College Dublin, Ireland, and I'm currently working as an intern at Nestle. So before moving with our discussion further, I would like to invite all our panel of speakers to give a small introduction about yourselves, including your background and your passion.
Hello, Andrea. First, let me begin by thanking the organizers of NSBM for Rotaract for having me on the program today. Hello, everyone. I'm Chirangee Tissera, founder and CEO of ConsultEd, a company dedicated to assisting individuals and organizations navigate towards success. I have a background in education, leadership, media, and marketing. And my master's is in educational leadership studies, and I have a bachelor's in psychology. And currently I'm working towards a certification in executive coaching. So that's kind of me in a nutshell.
Thank you so much, Ms. Chirangee.
Hi, guys. First of all, I would like to thank the NSBM Rotaract Club for organizing and inviting me back, at least through virtually, to see you all. And it's so nice to see a lot of people whom I know in this webinar. And all that aside, I'm Sachin Rodrigo, currently following a master's in technology, innovation, and operations at University of Winnipeg, and about to pursue a postgraduate diploma in human resource learning and development at MIT. And I'm also a proud alumni, a graduate from NSBM Green University town, which I still call my home away from home in Sri Lanka. So, and also I pursued a logistics management degree there. So that's all about me.
Thank you so much, Sachin. Thushinie, over to you.
Hi, all. So first of all, thank you so much for inviting me for this amazing discussion with the amazing guest with the panel. So hi all, I'm Thushinie Weerawardane, an undergraduate at NSBM Green University, pursuing a degree in industrial management. Currently, I'm working as a management intern at Dilmah Tea. Apart from my degree, I'm following CIMA as a professional qualification. And also I'm a self-taught artist and a small business owner. And I'm working as a freelance designer for some startups. So yeah, that's about me, and looking forward for an interesting sessions with this all.
Thank you so much. So we have an amazing panel of speakers with us today. So my first question is towards Ms. Chirangee. As a CEO and a founder of a reputed organization, which helps the individuals and organizations to navigate through challenges and which help them to successfully overcome those challenges, what is the best advice that you would like to give to our youngsters on balancing their work life and their personal life more effectively?
That's an interesting question, Andrea, and it's because I believe that each individual is unique depending on their life circumstances, on how they balance their work-life situation. And what I mean by that is if you're a student who is working towards a degree and you have your finals coming up, or you are an employee who have a project that's due and you have a deadline to meet, your priorities shift and you focus in on those priorities and you put more effort and time towards accomplishing those goals. So that balance that you're looking for is kind of shifted towards achieving that goal. Having said that, some people work to live and the others live to work. And the pandemic has kind of thrown a wrench on all of that has been established before. And most of us now are at home and we work from home, we go to school from home, and it's very difficult for us to identify where we need to start and stop. And I think that is kind of where the stress comes into play for all of us. We just don't know when to turn off and turn on, because earlier we had engagements, events, activities that we would look forward to. So we would stop one thing in order to be able to be involved in something else. And now that we don't have that, it's very difficult for us to take away or stop doing something just because it's time to stop doing it. I think I have a couple of ideas on how to manage that stress, which I believe as students, you might be able to find ways to incorporate these ideas into your daily lives. And hopefully that will relieve some of that stress that you have going on. Number one is clarifying your goals. What I mean by that is remind yourself why you started doing this. So let's say you are working towards a degree or a diploma. Remind yourself why you wanted to do that. Was that to advance your career? Was it to get into a better school? Was it a personal goal that you're meeting? So that kind of motivates you again, or re-motivates you to see if you are still on that path and keep on that path. Number two would be building a support system and communicating with other people. Your best support system is probably your family and your friends. And if you're in school, your faculty. And during times that you have projects or final exams, you can communicate your need for somebody to share the responsibilities that you have. Maybe you're in charge of making meals at your house. And during that final week, you could probably say, can somebody help with the cooking, or at least get something from outside to eat this week so I don't have to worry about that? That reveals some of the stress. And the way the faculty can get involved is you can communicate what your new challenges are, new needs are as a student, because it is one thing to go to class, be in person. Now that you're working from home and trying to get projects done, be able to be on a Zoom call to do your lessons, you have technical difficulties, you just don't have an idea of how to manage your time well. You might even not have an understanding of what the expectations are of that course. So communicating, being open, asking the faculty, your staff, your lecturers for guidance, for support in figuring out what those things that you need to know are, will ease some of that stress that you might not have to face on your own, because who knows, they might have the solution that you're looking for. Number three is organizing your time. When I say organizing your time, most of us would probably already have a plan of how we are going to tackle the next project that's coming up or the next assignment that's coming up. So we put those on the top of our list. What we tend to forget is time for ourselves. Are we taking care of ourselves? Maybe go for a walk, get some exercise, dedicate some time to sleep. Some of us forget that that is something that we need to do, to relax, to most of us can't hang out with friends, but at least get on a call with them, do a Zoom call. So you kind of have them right there talking about their activities that you haven't been able to be involved in. So these are all things that probably trying to put it into your daily lives would ease some of that burden that you feel that you're pressured into, and also celebrate little things in life. You don't have to wait till you finish that final diploma or degree. You finish an assignment, treat yourself to a movie, have a good meal, do something small to celebrate that small achievement. So hopefully these tips would help everybody in a small way to relieve that pain, that suffering that we have at times, just carrying all those troubles just by ourselves.
So Chirangee, thank you so much for your advice on that amazing session topic. And we would like to move towards Sachinaya, and we would like to ask this question from him. As a person who held many leadership roles in the university as well as outside the university, what would be the best message that you would give to all our youngsters who are listening today for the session, in order to balance their lives and also to work as all-rounders?
Chirangee tackled almost all the points which I was about to discuss, but there are some things which I'll just share my story with you all so that y'all can take what it needs to be taken. So yes, managing time is very, very crucial when it comes to undergraduate and graduate life, because especially when you're working, when you're studying, and when you're doing extracurricular work. So always work according to a timetable. I know that this is very common, that everyone tells you to do this. And I was that someone who didn't want to listen to that. Okay, when everyone says work according to a timetable. So it was not my thing back in the day. So, I am the person whom, well, this is a real scenario. My mom, when we were small, she used to make all these timetables for us. Okay, so whenever she says like, Sachin and Prakash, come here, I want to make a timetable for you guys to study, I go like, oh man, and I go and when she makes that, and when she goes every evening, she asks like, Sachin, what do you have to study now? And I go like geography, and I take the book and I make sure that I keep it on the table. And whenever she passes by, I make sure to turn a page just to make sure that she knows that I'm studying. Okay, so I'm a person who did that. I didn't want to work according to a timetable back in the day. But there's this one day which everything changed, because all the responsibilities, all the work, because I was in the board of prefects back in school as well, when I was balancing all this extracurricular work in the university as well. So everything started pouring in, and I was like super stressed, and I was like begging in front of the Lord, show me a way, right? So I was like thinking, okay, why not make a timetable and work according to it? This is like a real scenario which happened to me. So I thought of making a plan and sticking to it. So here's what I did. I just took a piece of paper, an A4 sheet, you divide it 7 columns, 7 days, Monday to Sunday. Okay, and take another piece of paper, you note down the times which you can dedicate for studies. Okay, so here's what my timetable was back in NSBM. 9 to 5 lectures, going to the gym, sleep for 2 hours, wake up at about 10 p.m. I'm a night guy, so I study until 1:30 a.m., 2 a.m. in the morning, and then go to sleep. So, and also, like Chirangee said, make sure to keep a time for yourself. Out of all the 7 days, I kept Sunday free. That was all for me. I'm not gonna utilize it for anything unless it's like an emergency. So an emergency is like, for example, when you have a friends meetup coming up this Wednesday, and the session, your evening session, which you're dedicating for studies, is gonna collapse, right? So that time should be utilized from the Sunday, the time you have for free. So you have to make sure that you adjust your timetable accordingly, what you did, and according to your capability rather. So working according, do this thing for 2 or 3 weeks, and please do let me know how it came through, because I'm pretty sure it's going to work. If it worked for me, if it worked for a person like me who had a past like that, I'm pretty sure it's going to work for people who, for everyone. So do that for 3 weeks. Do make that timetable and continue it for 3 weeks, and just see. And now I'll guarantee you that you'll definitely get attached to it, and you know that it'll happen, and you'll make sure that all these tasks, all these assignments y'all get packed up with will be over soon. Okay. And also the most important thing is like your friend circle in the university. Okay, I had 10 guys around me, so all including me. So all those 10 guys graduated. One went to Australia in the middle. They always supported me in my studies and in my extracurricular work. When we study towards the, when a semester comes to an end and when a final exam comes up, we always make sure that we get together and we study. And when we're studying, we are really focused. And when we're chilling, we chill to the max. So there should be a greater circle in your university life. If your friends circle is dragging you down and not letting you study or not supporting you at all, you should make a decision. Okay. So and those 10 guys, those 9 guys around me rather, they always said, Sachin, if you have something, just let me know. I always, even when I, held all those positions back in university, they always had my back. They always said, let's do it. We are here for you. So I was like so motivated. They always kept on motivating me. So that was like the, maintaining my time schedule back in Sri Lanka when I was like, doing all the studies. Oh, let me show you a example of I just got my, this is my master's timetable right here. I hope you guys can see it. Monday to Saturday, and that's the free day. Can you see it? It's written in pencil. So that I just remembered that I made one for the graduate studies. So yeah, just make sure that you follow that 7-day plan and maintain consistency, and see how it's going to work. And please do let me know if it works. I'll be more than happy to have inspired someone to do such things, right? So yeah.
Thank you, Sachinaya. So yeah, we should be more focused on our things like day by day. That's how we can improve ourselves. So moving on to Thushinie, and I would like to direct this question. Thushinie, as an undergraduate and an intern who are working currently, what are the challenges that you faced during this pandemic period, and how did you overcome them?
Okay, sounds interesting. Okay, as undergraduates, as for me as an undergraduate, the first challenge I had was getting used to the online platform, because when the pandemic started at the beginning of 2020 March, we are just started our second year and we had so many plans for our life, for, like studies and for the events, clubs and all. So we had no idea about how to continue these things while staying at home, because we didn't know so how much we have to stay home. So I think it's the main challenge that we all faced as undergraduates or as a whole as a community. For myself, I found it's so hard to concentrate on the lectures while staying at home with my family. So I had to put an effort to log into the lectures on time and stay awake at the lecture. Apart from that, there are challenges like connection issues, Wi-Fi problems, and power cuts are happening. So, and the hardest time was the exams, I should say, because for most of us, it was the first time that we had an exam online. So most of our batchmates were worried about the exam more than they do for other times. And we had no other choice only to get used to this pandemic and plan accordingly. For me, I tried not to lose my track all the time. I tried to stay focused and focus on my studies and get the benefit out of it. When it comes to working, the professional office setting is replaced with the background from your own home. So COVID-19 changed this world dramatically, including the switch to remote work. And interns like me, an undergraduate who at the start to think about professional career, and it made us a little demotivation. But during my time as an intern at Dilmah, I've assisted with some projects relating the operations. So basically, those projects were hard to conduct staying at home. But the company facilitated me through virtual meetings and chats. Those were new to me. I've also enjoyed having supervisors who direct me through meaningful projects and offered me a valuable role within the wider team. And most importantly, I should say that I was able to spend more time with my family and friends, and I took the advantage of it, being able to see my parents on a daily basis. And it was a nice reminder to enjoy the time I have with them and of the importance, and I understand the importance of healthy work-life balance. In reality, work from home has given me some more of the scarce resource, the time, and 2020 has been an extraordinary year to me, to say at least. And remote internship and the studies have also been anything but ordinary. So I hope I gave you a good answer, Andrea.
Yeah, indeed. Thank you, Thushinie. This is a kind reminder to all of those who are participating for this session. If you have any further clarifications to be made, please feel free to use the chat box and direct your questions to us. And now again, I would like to move to Ms. Chirangee. As a founder and a CEO, yeah, it's a big, tough position, I know. So like having so much of roles, responsibilities like this, and you have covered so much of avenues, a wide range of avenues, like different topics. So what are the advices that you would like to give our youngsters in order to explore the world more and more in terms of identifying their skills and talents, and also in terms of identifying more career paths to their future?
Andrea, I think that's a very good question. And I believe that the pandemic has a silver lining where it actually connected us with the rest of the world, because we couldn't communicate with even our friends and family who are local. We kind of got into the new digital realm of using digital platforms, social media, and that opened up the whole possibility of connecting with anybody around the world. And this webinar is a good example of those possibilities coming to realization. I would say that having all these openings, it broadens your network. And when I say network, it's the people that you connect with. You might have had friends who you went to school with, and you kind of lost touch, but because of the new way that we communicate, you probably are in touch with them again. And they might be in different positions right now, in work, in school, that you might actually be able to bounce ideas off of and explore new possibilities. Work is no longer restricted to being local. You can work in certain careers, you can work from home, which means that you can work from the US to Sri Lanka, or Sri Lanka to Australia. I mean, it's endless. The possibilities are just endless at this point. And a good example of this is I now lecture at one of the campuses in Sri Lanka, which wouldn't have been a possibility for me had it not been that this online platform was set up and students are now engaged in online learning. Another thing I would say that the pandemic has done is given us some time to reflect, time to realize some of the hobbies that we probably put aside since our school days, to explore skills that we haven't thought that we could do or have the time to do. There's my own personal experience during the pandemic has been finding a way to contribute towards the community. And I did that by identifying that there are students at home, little kids at home, who no longer had an education because schools were closed. And I wanted to, in a small way, get them to start reading again so that they do have something that will occupy them while they're at home. And I started my YouTube channel, which is dedicated towards story time, where I would read a story, show them pictures, and hopefully inspire them to pick up a book themselves and start reading. So that was like one of the small ways that I got engaged in helping the community out in a small way, but at the same time, honing in on the skills that I have to be able to use media, to understand what marketing is. And I had to learn some of the tricks of the trade too, because this is not a realm that I had been in before. So I had to kind of adjust, adapt, and figure out new ways. The third thing that I want to say is there are a lot of free courses that's offered through, and make use of it. Sachin brought up a good point about, having a schedule, and that is a great way for you to decide, okay, I have some free time during the weekend. So let me just, sit down, dedicate an hour or so to watch a video on how to do a report or how to make a PowerPoint presentation better, or do gardening, cook a meal. It's whatever you're interested in, whatever you're passionate about. This is a good time for you to explore those ideas. And in a way, it actually improves what you're doing. Now, Thushinie is somebody who has so many things that's going on in her life. She said that she is currently a student, she's got an internship going, and then on top of all of this, she has to figure out a way to do all of this online. And just like Thushinie, there's so many other individuals around the world who's experiencing these same challenges, these same possibilities in a sense, that have figured out ways to get through, get by. Just like we are discussing ways to deal with the pandemic and the stresses that's involved in the pandemic, there are other webinars that's available. There's workshops that you can do. So explore that. There's a lot of digital resources out there, and this would be a great time for you to dedicate some time to being online and be okay with it, and take something away from it as well.
Thank you, Chirangee. So by listening to that, I got another amazing, interesting question to my head. So I would like to direct this question to all three of y'all. So I also personally had a plan, like I was planning my future, like what will I do in the next 2-3 coming months. And I didn't expect this whole setup to be virtual. So I thought of participating for lectures, and if I have more time, I might do an internship. But at the moment, I'm working from online. So some days I'm listening to lectures, and if I get a break, I work and I finish my projects. So I think this time it provided us a good opportunity to do many things simultaneously. So what were the changes that took place in your life? Sometimes you might have a different plan in order to succeed, but because of this pandemic situation, there might be new opportunities that you got to make your life more successful. So what were those opportunities that you got and you made it?
Sachin, would you like to go first?
Yeah. So the opportunity I got is I got a lot of time in hand to learn new things. For example, I don't know about chess, but from the very recent, I started learning how to play chess. And I had a lot of time. I used to play the guitar back in the day, and I had a lot of time to play the guitar. So coming to think of that, I was thinking, wow, I got a lot of time now for myself, and the time for myself, that's what is, and the time to spend, with your family, right? So when before all this pandemic happened, I was always at NSBM. Okay, all 24/7, I was at NSBM. But well, after I graduated, and even after I graduated, I went to NSBM. So I was like too attached. So when this pandemic happened, I stayed at home, and I was like thinking, wow, my parents are very good people, right? So it made me a lot closer to them, and made me understand our understanding between each other, the family members and me. We had, it increased. So I was so happy that I got a lot of time in hand, and that was one of the opportunities which opened up for me, and also a time to learn new things, which I'm about to explain it to you in the coming questions. So that is what I got from my side. Chirangee, Thushinie, what do you?
As far as the pandemic was concerned, I think I had to really adjust how I did things because all of a sudden we had the entire family at home. We had to figure out ways in which all of us could get through the day doing our work with the least amount of interruptions. We had, at the beginning, it was chaotic because, figuring out the internet, figuring out how to do things online. But we finally got into a schedule, and there's 4 of us living in this house, myself, my husband, and 2 kids. And we have a system in play. We know when breakfast is, lunch is, and dinner is. And like Sachin, this had been a great time for us to sit down and have a meal as a family, because you are taken away from that rat race that you used to be in, constantly trying to get to places, trying to do things. And also, it was not long before the pandemic started that I began my company. So it was a new experience altogether. Now, to figure out ways to communicate and get my message, my marketing done through the internet, and not have the luxury of meeting people face to face. So you learn skills that you probably did not need prior to this situation, but you also have an opportunity to reflect, which you probably didn't do much of when you were caught in that mad rush of just waking up in the morning and getting through the day and going to sleep and waking up again the next morning. It kind of slowed our lives down just enough for us to think about, why are we doing this, and how can we do this better. So that is kind of what I got out of this time, Andrea, and I wish you the best of luck. I think you trying to juggle this time between school and work and trying to figure out where your priorities lie. You are in an environment where you can make those choices right now, because you don't have to dedicate time for travel. You don't have a lot of other distractions, because a lot of the events that you might have been engaged in no longer takes place in that same arena. And also, this is a great opportunity for anyone to focus on ways to do things new, in a new aspect. My alma mater organized an online talent show, and it was a huge success. And the skills and the organization capabilities that went into a project like that is immense. And for them to do it all virtually, that that requires a certain amount of skill, a certain amount of patience. And I think it's time for all of us to kind of look at what are the positives that this has put on our plates right now, rather than all the negatives that we've experienced.
Thanks, Chirangee. Thushinie, what's your input on this question?
Yeah, as Ms. Chirangee mentions, I'm a person who always look at the positive side of a situation. So for this pandemic, most importantly, I was able to spend time with my family because all four of us at home. And other than that, I learned so many things during this past year. Like how to cook meals, making desserts, and how to clean home like in a proper manner, how to clean my room properly and do some decorations and likewise things. And in the educational side, I completed a marketing fundamentals of marketing course at online, and I experienced how online courses are happening because all these online things were new to me. So I think all of the facts that were said by Ms. Chirangee and Sachinaya. So I think that's enough from my input for this question.
Thank you so much. So moving on to Sachinaya, I would like to direct this question to you. As a person who has a goal of inspiring young undergraduates to become leaders, what is the best advice that you would like to give to our undergraduates who are working hard to become leaders in the future? Sachinaya, I think you're on mute.
Oh, yeah, sorry about that. So that's a very good question and very relatable. Thank you very much for asking that, Andrea. So as I always say, I'm pretty sure you also might remember this, always treat everyone equally. You know, don't judge anyone from the amount of money you have, you know, fluency of English you speak, from what you wear and what you drive to the university, and the amount of Instagram followers you have. And the most important one, the religion you follow. None of that is necessary. I have requested only 3 things back in the day from all the NSBM undergraduates while I was there. Just 3 things. I'm pretty sure Andrea might also remember this. Be humble. First one, always be humble. Second, be down to earth. Okay. And the third one, always have a good heart. So I used to share all these stories with the new batches and all the batches at NSBM. So sad I'm not there anymore. But when you have all these 3 together, everything will fall into place. And that was the way how I was effective back in the day. And the second one is acknowledge people. There are 2 kinds of people, okay? There are people, we know that we all have differences and we all have faults in ourselves. There are people who show those differences in order to hurt you. And there are people who show those differences in order to see you rise, in order to help you turn those weaknesses into strengths. So make sure to be the person who shows those weaknesses to rise someone else. So, and the third one is don't be jealous over someone's victory or achievements. Rather try to be very happy, because I have been there a couple of times in my life when I see someone else winning and I'm not winning. I have, felt so sad. So, but I gathered my courage and I thought to myself, no, I'm going to be happy because I'm not comparing myself to him or her or someone else in my life, right? So you will never win if you have your eyes on another person. Okay, you have to always focus on your own game. And when you compare yourself to another person and when you see others winning, you always feel, you have that feeling that you're not enough. Okay, so what I want you all to do is, like, you are living in you're creating expectations which are not even yours. There's no need to outdo a family member or a friend. Okay, you are unique. This is your focus on winning your own race. If others win their race, that's good, right? That's great. So always focus on winning your own race. And the next one is always be thankful. Always be thankful to people who has helped you to come so far. As you all know, I am very thankful to one individual in the university who has helped me to come this far, who has provided me with all these opportunities, Miss Dilmah. I hope she's listening right now. So thank you very much, Miss, for all those opportunities back in the day. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been here even in this Zoom session. So it's all because of her. And the next one is build your character according to your talents and skills. Okay, always be you. You don't have to become someone whom you haven't been to please someone else. Okay, you may be the craziest person in the room. You may be the stupidest person in the room. You may be the loneliest. You may be the most antisocial person in the room. That doesn't matter as long as you're not fake. Okay, as long as you are being you. So here's what happens in a batch normally when, there are people who are scared to come out, in a batch. There are people who wants to talk in front of a batch, but they're scared, and it is, what they think is like they think that what would other people think if I go in front and talk, right? So I'd rather keep my mouth shut and do my own stuff, and I'll get out of this university, graduate. So that shouldn't be there, because being an undergraduate is not just having a first-class degree and getting out from the university. It's something more than that. That is one thing one of our lecturers told me. So I have extended that definition. From what I see, an undergraduate is someone who has achieved the academic excellence, who has done extracurricular work, and also has a good personality. So according to what I define undergraduate, that is what I see, a graduate or an undergraduate. So I want you all to gather that courage in you and bring out that talent. Don't hide those talents, because I'm not regretting right now, because I did all what I can in the universities. The day you're going to regret is once you graduate. You think, I should have done this, I should have done that. Okay, so when I stepped into NSBM, I thought that someday I'm going to rule this place. Right? And it happened, right? I somehow, I worked so hard. It was pretty tough. The road was pretty tough, but I had a lot of people with me. And yeah, that's all I have to share.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sachin. So my next question is towards Thushinie. So what are the challenges, what are the issues that affected your mental health during this pandemic period, and what are the things that you did to overcome those challenges?
Okay, the pandemic and the impact it is having is naturally causing a lot of fear, uncertainty, and anxiety across the world. And at social isolation, disrupted work and family routines, and economic instability. And it is understandable that our mental health is suffering. The situation is stressful because it's hard to predict how things will develop and our circumstances are changing rapidly. This can leave us feeling powerless, like we are no longer in the control of our own lives. As in the case in many aspects of our lives, there are things we can't control, like this situation. These include the actions of and reactions of other people, how long this situation will last, and what might happen in the future. And at the same time, for me and most of us, it was our best time as an undergraduate. Although these things might leave us feeling helpless, in reality, there are still a lot of things we have power over in our lives. Therefore, for the answer of the latter part of the question, how I overcome those challenges which affected my mental health, is I redirect my energy towards these things that will help me to deal with effectively in this situation. As I previously said, I'm a person who looks the positive side of the every situation. So I would say some things that I have done At first, maintaining social connection is crucial to your well-being at this time. So I use all the tools available to me, my phone, messages, video calls, and social media to stay in regular contacts with my friends and other family members. So remember that this period of isolation will end someday. So use this time to strengthen your connections rather than letting them fade. Secondly, looking after yourself is an essential part of maintaining your energy level. So, as Sachinaya and Chirangee said, it's important to take time for yourself. So you need to look after yourself first in order to be there for other people. So for that, you have to eat a healthy diet, get as much as fresh air, daylight as possible, get outside, like for the garden. I stayed in my little garden and it always made me fresh. Then you have to make sure that you are getting enough and good quality sleep. I didn't stay until 3 a.m. and wake up later next day. I always try to went through my normal sleeping routine during that we are, even though we are at home all day. So then exercise is always good. I never worked out before, but during this lockdown, I tried some workouts and it helped me a lot. And then spend some time during the things you enjoy, like doing the things you enjoy. It's important to give yourself a break and do things boost your mood. So for me, I draw pictures and start my own page, and I did some crafts and let the designer within me come out. And we are creatures of habit, so disruptions of our usual routine can add stress to what it is already challenging time. So if we our routines are disrupted, it add more stress on ourselves. So creating new routine can bring structure back to your life. So it is also breaks up your time and prevent the days from blending into each other. So I try to get up at the usual time and get dressed as I normally would without staying in my pajamas all day, and stick to regular meal times. Then uh, do some activities for like more than likely to spend a lot of time at home at the moment. So it is worth making your environment as comfortable as possible. So think about how can you make it a more pleasant place to be. Like I clean my room, did some decorations, I assign different activities to different areas in my room, like one corner for studying, another one for relaxing and listening to music and read a book. So during these challenging times, we need to keep an eye on our mental health and look out for those closest to us. There is no doubt that this is a tough situation, and it is understandable that you might be feeling low or missing your loved ones. So reaching out and supporting each other is the best way to us to get through this. So remember yourself that this situation will not last forever, and although you may feel lonely, you are not alone. We all are in this together. So that's my tips for your maintaining mental health for this pandemic.
Thank you, Thushinie. Yeah, so amazing and interesting advice. So we all have dreams in our lives. We all have goals to achieve. So finally, at the end of the day, we want to achieve our goals and dreams, and we want to achieve success in the future. So this question is to all of you. What is the best advice that you would like to give to our youngsters in order to transform their dreams into a reality?
I'll take that one first, if you don't mind. First, I wanted to piggyback off of something that Thushinie said. In order for us to achieve our goals and realize our dreams, I think we all first have to decide what they are and then make a plan towards it. Unfortunately, the pandemic has shifted most of our plans and made us adapt and accommodate to these new situations, new way of doing things. But some of us struggle during these times because it's a disruption to our lives, like Thushinie said. And while most of us are able to deal with that shift, We might get a little stress, we might find a challenge in it, but we might be able to overcome it because we have a good support system. We have family and friends who are closest to us, who are there to kind of brighten our day, and we have something to look forward to. Unfortunately, not everybody is in that situation. So my thing is, if you are feeling down, if you are feeling depressed, recognize that. If you don't want to do something because you just don't want to get out of bed, like Thushinie said, she gets up in the morning, she has a routine, she makes sure she's not in her PJs the whole day. But there are others who might not be able to do that. They might not be in a position to do that. And that's dangerous. And you have to recognize that. You might know of somebody who's going through such emotions and negativity. You might be able to reach out to them, help them out. You might be the one who's feeling it. So once you recognize it, seek help. I would say just talk to someone. And all of us should be open to the idea that not everybody is able to deal with stress in the same way. And it's not taboo anymore to talk about thoughts that are not always positive. It's okay to have negative thoughts. And if you do have negative thoughts, you have to address those first before you can focus on your goal. They're not going to go away on their own, and you have to address them. Sometimes talking to a friend or a family member might help, but if that is not something that you want to do because it feels awkward or you are not in a comfortable position to do that, I would suggest even reaching out to professional help should be okay. And if you are known to somebody who is in that situation, you could be that friend or family member who helps them out with figuring out how to deal with that situation, or have them get the help that they need. Having said all of that, I thought that was a little bit of important information with the background that I have and what I've witnessed with students, faculty, and pretty much any individual during these times. Like, those emotions are elevated, so you have to address those. But focusing on getting back onto your goals, onto your track, onto your path of achieving them. Be open to the idea of being a lifelong learner. There is no age. You can never say, I've learned everything that I need to know to get to the place that I need to go. There's always a next step. There's always something that you can work on. And if you have the concept of lifelong learning and you're open to the idea that somebody younger than you might actually know more than you when it comes to a certain aspect, and you're okay with the idea of listening to them, asking them for their advice in how to get it done, you have a chance to grow. And it's the same with when you, all of you might be focused in on getting a degree, whether it's a bachelor's, whether it's a master's, whether it's a PhD. That is academic. That is knowledge that you get from a book. You might have a good professor who is able to give you a little bit of hands-on experience in the subject that you're learning, but it cannot compensate for the experiences in life. And you have to be open to getting that information by experiencing it. And also just don't be close to the idea of reinventing yourself. From my personal perspective and experience, I can tell you, just because you studied in one area doesn't mean that you should close yourself off to something else. Something else that you're passionate about might open up. And if you find excuses like, oh, I'm too old, I've already spent so much money on getting this degree, I don't want to focus on this anymore, there's multiple excuses. But if you give it a try, and see what you can do with it. It might actually be the next stage in your life. I went from focusing on education, being an education administrator in leadership, to media, broadcasting, TV, something that was completely out of my realm of thinking at the time. But something just triggered me to explore that area, and I enjoyed it. And I'm a better person for knowing those skill sets now. But then again, had I closed myself off to saying, oh, no, because how can I rationalize doing something else when I've spent so much effort and energy into doing this one thing, I would have lost that opportunity. So be open to learning new things, changing who you are, changing your path if it comes to that. I'm not saying add more stress on by trying different things and changing all the time, but just keep learning. Don't close yourself to learning, not just the things from books, but how to be human, how to be present, how to be a leader. All of those things, the tools are out there. You just have to reach out and get those tools and work on yourself.
Thank you so much, Chirangee. So, Sachin, over to you.
Yeah. So achieving your goals is what I call being successful. So success means different things to different people. For some, it may be like, achieving a state of wellness or being happy. For sportsmen, it may be winning titles or winning championships. And for some, it may be being a billionaire. So I was reading this article and was watching this video, and I got these 10 key attributes of a successful person or successful people. So I will share it with you all. So these attributes apply to all the areas in your life in order to be success. So the first one is they set goals. So you will never find any successful person who has not set goals. So they make sure that they set goals, and to make sure that they are on track. So whenever they go off the track, they always remind themselves of the goals they have set, and they make sure to find a way to adjust themselves to achieve those goals, and make sure that you define those goals. And when you define those goals, you have to break your ultimate goal, into mini goals and achieve those milestones little by little. And the second one is that they take responsibility for their life. They take responsibility for their own success and failure. They don't blame others for their mistakes. They learn the lesson and they move on. And they find another way to achieve those mini milestones or that ultimate goal. So if something goes wrong, you have to decide what you're going to do. No one else is going to decide it for you, because it's your goal at the end of the day. And the third one is they have great self-discipline. Okay, discipline is like one of the key attributes you should have, but self-discipline can be developed by using it consistently. So if I ask you a question, you'll answer it to yourself. When you're alone, do you choose to go to social media, watch videos on YouTube, or use that time to do something beneficial for your future? So if you have self-discipline, you will keep yourself focused on what's important rather than all these meaningless distractions. And the fourth one is they are obsessed with self-development. Successful people, they are open to learn new things. They know that the more you learn, the more you earn, mentally and physically. And the fifth attribute is they gain new skills. They, like I said, successful people, they always try to increase their value by learning new things and learning new opportunities, seeking more new opportunities. When they gain new skills, and when the time when they're gaining new skills, when no one is watching. They gain skills when no one is watching. So they don't waste the time they have. They normally use it to gain new skills and seek new opportunities in order to, like I said, to increase their value. And the sixth point attribute they have is they manage their time well. Time management, as we spoke in the very first question, if I recall it correctly, they always prioritize the most rewarding task first and the least significant to the last. So by doing that, they always, they're managing their timing well by, planning in advance too. Okay, so they don't rush into things and, consume a lot of time expecting things like all of a sudden. They always plan in advance in order to save time, to manage their time. So it is important to allocate time for the most valuable tasks first. And the seventh one is that they take risks. So if you don't buy a ticket, you will not win the raffle, right? So if you don't take risks, you're not going to get your dreams achieved. So there are a lot of people who are afraid to take risks because of failure. So, the greatest failure successful people have is the failure of regret. If the regret of not taking any risks. So they are always focused on taking risks in order to achieve their life goals. And the eighth one is they keep going. They keep going whether they suffer setbacks or failures. Okay, so when this happens, some people might lose everything. Most of them quit after that happens. So the successful people, they never quit. They keep going. They know that every moment in their life is being recorded in a story. And when a failure happens, and when you have a comeback story for that failure, that's what makes that story more interesting. So the ninth attribute is that they always find a way to win. They whatever challenge or whatever obstacle comes in their way, they always find a way to win, overcome, smash, dodge, break through those challenges in order to get one step closer to those to his or her ultimate goal. So it's that whatever it takes mentality you have. So I urge you to have that confidence in you all. So whenever a challenge or an obstacle comes in your way, you're going to give it all with a huge confidence inside you. I'm going to give all what I have and not going to leave anything on the table. And the last one is like, they do what they love. Okay, successful people, they do what they love. I think this attribute is the most strongest attribute out of all the 10. They do what they love. If you cannot claim that you're successful if you're not doing what you love. And you cannot say that you are successfully living if you're earning money by not doing what you love. So it's better if you could, turn that ultimate goal into passion, and then passion into profits by doing what you love every day. Okay, so I will finish this with a quote by Arnold Schwarzenegger. As we all know this quote, I'm pretty sure everyone might know this. He has said, just remember, you cannot climb the ladder of success with your hands in your pockets. That's all.
If you don't mind,
Thank you so much, Thushinie.
One more thing.
Yeah.
That was a great list that Sachin said. One more thing I would like to add to that is adaptability. I believe that all of us have adapted to the new situation in trying to figure out how we are going to be successful, how we are going to achieve the goals. And the willingness to adapt is, I would say, one more added to that list. And we should always try to recognize our surroundings and do what we need, shift in what we thought that we needed to do into what we need to do, and be able to get through the day and achieve those goals that we set for ourselves. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Chirangee. Thushinie, over to you.
Yeah, many of us live for our dreams. Oftentimes, they are what keep us going, moving. Our dreams are embedded in us from when we are small children. So for me, it's my dream to become successful in a profession like my mother one day since I was a kid. So we don't have them by coincidence, and most importantly, the precious dreams in us are meant to be realized. So my best advice for you is to start working for your dreams today. So here I will give you some tips, like 5 tips that I use to transform my dreams to reality. First, do the little things first. There is this quote I took from taking little steps each day is better than a lot better than standing still every day. So to accomplish our dreams, let's focus on mastering the little steps. Getting better at the small steps will set up for the big strides to come. Oftentimes, it's the little things that can stand in the way of achieving the bigger things. So do the little things first. Secondly, get ready. You have to set up yourselves to the greatness that you wish to achieve. By how? By planning for it. As Sachin said, you have to plan your things, and you have planning validates your goals, and it shows that you are serious about becoming successful. Most importantly, when you plan, you are connecting reality to your dreams. Then you have to plan right. That's the third tip I would say. If you want to transform your deepest desires into reality, you must get intentional with everything. The plan may depend on who you intend to become in next 6 months or a year, even at least 1 month, but you have to plan accordingly. Then overcome excuses. Again, that is this quote I took: the world is tired of excuses. It is ready for more results. Every moment in your life counts to your dream. Excuses are your biggest adversity. Many people go about their lives with an army of excuses so that it becomes natural for them to write off their dreams because of they have excuses. And I have realized that we have always find what we are looking for. If you are focused on why things will fail or why you cannot do something, you may find so many reasons. But if you do it in the other way and meditate on executions, your mind will amass the tools for you to fulfill your potential. Then finally, act it out. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. So every moment of the day is an opportunity to act your goals. So faith is an action, and at your level of faith will decide how often you act out your dream. So, my dear friends and listeners, your dreams have to be bigger than you. People may forget your names, but they should never forget your dream. Always remember that the first part of our dream is the part when we think about them every day, and the second part is the most important part is when we go about attaining them. So those are the tips I follow for myself, and my advices for the youngsters and listeners is starting work of your dreams today. May those tips fuel your burning desires.
Thank you so much, Thushinie. So actually, we got so much of advices to our lives today. We should be open to new opportunities to learn and grow, as Ms. Chirangee mentioned correctly. And we should maintain a timetable and set our goals. And always we should do what we like, as Sachin told us. And also, we should be positive about all the things that we face in our lives, as Thushinie said. So we got so much of amazing insights to our lives today. And I would like to make this an opportunity to thank the Community Service Avenue of the Rotaract Club of NSBM for organizing this amazing session. And also, I would like to thank all of you for being an amazing audience. For amidst your tight schedules, you joined with us to share this bliss of this occasion with us. So thank you so much for all the participants. Thank you so much for all the speakers for your valuable time. And yeah, have a nice day. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for the
Thank you.
opportunity.
Thank you, guys. All the best.
Thank you.
It was nice meeting you all.
Nice meeting you all.
Yeah,
too.
nice meeting.
Same here. Thank you so much.
Thank you.